When you saw how much the Colts paid for Sauce, what immediately came to your mind?
It was a little shocking. I think it was obviously a position of need. I think it changes the way they can play defense, having a guy like Sauce Gardner. But I just didn't imagine two first round picks and AD Mitchell, who if things work out, like honestly, he was probably the best route runner and overall receiver on that Colts team. It's just, he has a lot of other things going on. So it's hard to kind of tell what the worth is and value in the NFL. It's like, when do you trade a guy? How much does a team want him? Like, I never would imagine the Micah Parsons and who he is becoming as an elite pass rusher would go for kind of the same thing as Sauce Gardner. It was a little surprising to me.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought up AD Mitchell though, because I think that's getting lost in the conversation behind the two first round picks. I think AD Mitchell to the Jets is a great fit, but you don't trade two first round picks for Sauce Gardner if you're not pushing all of your chips into the middle for a Super Bowl. So with the addition of Sauce Gardner, do the Colts now have a Super Bowl defense?
Yeah, I think so. And I actually like the move. I think too often in this league, you see everybody kind of go all in on the future. And you guys were talking about it before I got on air. It's like, oh, we got all these picks. Now you can do what? Like it's yet to be seen rather than you say, hey, we have a good football team. We're at top of the AFC. Let's go get Sauce Gardner. Let's pair him with our group and see if we can go win a Super Bowl. Like that to me is what builds culture. That's what I got to do in New England all the time, trade deadline. It was never selling pieces. It was like, all right, who are one or two guys we can bring in and be the difference and going to compete for a Super Bowl? And I think the Colts have that kind of roster. So like, why not go all in? If it doesn't work out, you regroup, you try to make the best roster for next year and go do the same thing. Rather than the approach of, for some fan bases, every year, all hope you have is on the future. Like that sucks as a fan.
Walk me through what it means to the locker room, right? Because you've been in these Super Bowl locker rooms. So here, your team that's playing above the skis of what most of us expected, right? You're having this great season. You make a big move yesterday. How does that sort of impact the way the guys feel today when they go to work?
Yeah, for me, it reminds me of 2012. We traded for Aqib Talib coming from Tampa. And it was like, okay, we got that piece. Now, we lost in the AFC Championship that year, but it was like, man, we just brought in a guy that when you looked at our overall defense, we had a good defense, but it wasn't elite. We didn't have like that one guy that can come in and say, hey, I got this guy. I'm going to take him out of the game and allow you to do different things, game planning. So not only for like the defense, the overall team, the offense, especially like everyone knows that guy. So when a Sauce Gardner comes in, you say, you know what? I'm going to stay extra today. I'm going to catch a few more balls off the jug machine. You know what? I'm going to study a little bit more film because I don't want to be the guy that's not the difference maker and why we reach our highest potential. So it definitely helps the locker room. I think it makes everybody work a little harder to see how far your team can go. And you really like, you get to feel it. And I think that's what builds not only for this year for the Colts, it turns into the years after, whether it's next year, the year after that. Like it turns your franchise and your organization into one of those teams that we say, well, we know every year, we know this team's going to be there. And I think that's what everyone should be chasing.
Hey, you've lived this. You played the game. You won three Super Bowls, which saves them for the rest of us. But from your evaluation of what you've seen from the league, who passes that Super Bowl eyeball test? Who looks like legitimate Super Bowl contenders?
Well, I mean, you can never look past the best guys that play the quarterback position. So no matter how the Chiefs look, no matter what goes week in and week out, unless they were like 1-6 or at the bottom of the AFC, we like you have to believe that this team in any type of playoff setting, they will find a way to be there at the end. I think you look at them. I still look at the Eagles. The Rams, I would also throw in one of the teams that I really like and I love what they did yesterday is the Seattle Seahawks. I think they have a defense that is a defense that can go compete with anybody, go make plays offensively, putting up big numbers, and then you add Rashid Shaheed. I think it just makes that team even better. I've picked them to win the division. But this year, I think different than some other years, there's to me, there's like three or four teams on both sides that you legit could say, hey, I see this team being there at the end and a chance to win a Super Bowl. And I think it's mainly because they have good teams and then they have the X factor in that quarterback position that we have faith in that says, hey, we can go win the game. And then, as I say, Seattle, I think that's the question mark for Sam Darnold. Can he get over that hump? Baker Mayfield has made us believers in that he could get over. And obviously, you have Matt Stafford, Josh Allen, Mahomes. If Lamar Jackson and Baltimore continue to play at the level they are with the schedule they have in front of them, they'll also be there at the end probably.
Yeah, and to that point, it doesn't feel like, at least right now, from what we've seen, that it's just okay. Chiefs, Bills, Eagles. So you bring up the Bucks, you bring up the Seahawks. We talked about the Colts, the Lions are in that conversation as well. So many teams that feel like they can get there. It feels like there's more parity in the NFL than we've seen in a long time. In your opinion, is that a good thing for the league?
Yeah, I love it. I love turning on the games. We watch the games every Sunday. We're all in studio. We're watching on all these screens. The worst thing is those 1 o'clock slates when you watch and it's like, oh, well, we only got one game today to pay attention to because every other game's a blow. Like, that's brutal. And I think you saw, especially this week, we watched Minnesota, last Thursday play against the Chargers, and we're like, well, whatever we thought of Minnesota, they're out of it. Then they come back Sunday and they beat Detroit, a team that I think we thought was finally getting over the hump. They were getting healthy, and they come out and they win that game. And I think that's the joy of the NFL, of seeing kind of movement. Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh, Sunday night we have them against the Packers. They're done. Defense is too bad. Come back and beat the Red Hot Colts. Now all of a sudden, hey, can Baltimore come back and win that division? Or does Pittsburgh? All of these question marks, especially as we get deeper into November and New England, we had a phrase, football starts after Thanksgiving. That's when it's time to build towards being a championship team. Now, like, we're starting to see this thing heat up. All right, the Colts look like they're human again. All right, like, who's going to step up and win? I kind of love that part of it. I'm excited this week to watch the Tampa Bay New England game. New England's been running through teams. Tampa is a really good football team. So how does that matchup work out? So definitely exciting times in the NFL right now.
I mean, you spent 13 years with the Patriots, right? Like, a lot of us thought the Patriots yesterday might be movers at the trade deadline. Were you surprised that they were kind of quiet?
I think they probably did. And what I've learned from some of the better GMs or front office people is everything can be done, but it's got to be done at the right value. You got to like the value you're going to get somebody at. And I think it's the same thing we talked about all of the rumors about the Chiefs and Breece Hall, and they wanted to get Breece Hall supposedly for a 4th-round pick. Jets said only a 3rd-round pick. So you walk away and you say, hey, we still like the decision we made because we got to continue to operate the way that we think is best for our football team. So I think the Patriots are saying, hey, we like our football team. Maybe there were 1 or 2, maybe 3 guys we wanted to add, but hey, the other team knows we want to add them as well. If they're going to try to overcharge us, we'll just move on and take the team we have. So I think the key for the Patriots, they got to stay healthy. I don't think they have the depth of some of these other teams in the league. So I think for them, if they can stay healthy, they got to be pretty confident that they can go and mix it up with anybody in the league.
They had so much hype. The Patriots had so much hype going into the season. The Patriots have delivered, if not even exceeded the level of hype that they got in the preseason. Could you make the case that the Patriots are the best team in the AFC?
Yeah, I definitely think you can make that case. They sit at top of the AFC right now. And I think it all comes down to the game we watched, a few weeks ago on Sunday Night Football when they played against the Buffalo Bills and they were able to go toe to toe with the Bills, beat the Bills. Some of the other wins as we've looked the last few weeks haven't been as impressive. But I think what they do have, they have an aggressive defense. They understand how to play, top down. They're going to make you drive the field. And then offensively, when you have, an explosive offense, you have a quarterback that everyone's saying the best deep ball throw in the league right now. That's what you kind of consider. Hey, this is a team that can go win in the playoffs. If you play good defense, create explosive plays. And now I think they got to focus on one of the biggest things for me with the Patriots are the sloppy football. Like, you cannot turn the ball over as you get deeper in the season. They lost to the Steelers earlier this season because of 5 turnovers. Drake Maye, as well as he's played last game, the interception that was kind of a error between him and Hunter Henry they talked about, but then the fumble before the half. You can't play that way. So I think if they fix those things, I would be pretty confident if I'm the Patriots that, hey, we're a year or maybe 2 years ahead of schedule let's take advantage the same way the Washington Commanders did last year with Jaden Daniels of no one thought they'd be in the NFC Championship, but if your team's there, quarterback on a rookie contract, let's go out there and win as many games because it makes us more attractive in free agency for guys saying, I want to go play because I want to play with Drake Maye.
So, but it's interesting to me, right? Because you got those 3 trophies behind you. We keep thinking about that. And I think about like Brady versus Manning and what that whole era was like. And look, obviously we want to find the modern Brady versus Manning, but that feels almost impossible in the modern AFC because there's so many good, like you can put Mahomes and you can put Josh Allen. Maybe you end up putting Drake Maye into this conversation and Justin Herbert, like so many of these quarterbacks. How are we supposed to judge success of quarterbacks in this era when there are so many that aren't going to get a Super Bowl because of Mahomes' greatness?
Yeah, I mean, it reminds you of basketball, right? The Michael Jordan era of how great was Charles Barkley, how great were all Patrick Ewing, all these great players that I think now when we look back, like we marvel at how great they were. And I think that's going to be a little bit of this group. And even within the Manning and, the Brady era, Ben Roethlisberger still snuck in there and he got his championship. So there's going to be guys that get in there. Joe Flacco on the Baltimore Ravens, they got. So I think that's going to define who gets in there and gets their Super Bowls. Who gets the Super Bowls at the end of the Mahomes, the Allen, the Lamar Jackson? Like who goes in there and gets the Super Bowls? Because I've made the argument, living in New Jersey now, you got the Giants fans who Eli Manning's a Hall of Famer, and I agree. Like you take down Goliath twice, you definitely deserve it. But look at Jalen Hurts. Now in this Patrick Mahomes era, he's sitting here with a Super Bowl. And now you look up and you're like, man, he's played in 2 Super Bowls. He's outplayed Mahomes. If they go get another Super Bowl, we have to walk away from this era talking about, man, Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles, what they were able to do in an era that was marked by Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and those great Chiefs teams. That's super impressive. So I think there's a way, and I think the guys that get the 1 or 2 Super Bowls in this era will be the guys we end up talking about right after talking about Mahomes.
So this upcoming Sunday night, you'll be covering Pittsburgh Steelers and the Chargers, 2 teams that if the season ended today would both be in the playoffs, but also 2 teams that I feel like we as a football society are very hesitant to truly trust. Of these 2 teams, who do you feel like isn't getting the love that they deserve?
Well, I don't think either team deserves any more love. The Steelers, I think their inconsistencies are why people don't love them right now. Like we were in Pittsburgh for the Pittsburgh Green Bay Sunday night football game, and myself and Chris Sims were doing a podcast as the fourth quarter's wrapping up. Fans are walking by cursing us, not cursing us out, but cursing their team out as they're still playing in the fourth quarter. How bad the defense is. They're chanting fire Mike Tomlin, like all of the craziness you could imagine. And then the very next week they come in, they handle the Indianapolis Colts like it's nothing. So I would say, which team do I feel better about right now? I feel better about the Steelers only because the Chargers offensive line just continues to get beat up. They continue to just get guys hurt. Now with Joe Alt out for the year, we saw the difference Joe Alt makes when he's in the lineup for Justin Herbert. Herbert right now, I think going forward is going to be asked to do so much, whether that's scrambling, whether that's making the right throws, making the right reads, play in and play out. And he's going to have to do this probably under 3 seconds a majority of the game. I think that's going to be really tough on them. I think now they got to play a Pittsburgh Steelers team that should come in confident. And I think defensively, the Steelers they kind of found how they want to play. I think they're going to be a little bit more conservative, first and second down, 2 high safeties, try to play some zone, play some 2 high with man underneath. And then in kind of the third down, pressure situations, they got to have it moments. They're going to play some man, and they're going to let these guys, T.J. Watt and Highsmith, get after the quarterback. And if Pittsburgh can play from ahead in this game, I think it's going to be really tough for the Chargers because if they go one-dimensional, they're not going to be able to stop this pass rush.
Real quick before we get you out of here, Football Night in America crew, you guys been busting out the dance moves lately, sharing them on social. Who's the best dancer on the Football Night in America? And I'm going to clip this off and send it to Maria. So just so you know, like she's going to know what you have to say about this. I'm just letting you change your answer if you want.
No, Maria's like that annoying sister that you never wanted. We're always bickering and arguing, so I have no problem telling the truth about it. I'll give you this. Maria's like the coach of this. She got this whole thing going. All her idea but she didn't know like I'm the best dancer. Most entertaining though, definitely goes our guy on the left right there, Mike Florio. He's why the people
100%.
come. Like the people come to see what is Florio doing. Look at that. But I'll tell you right now, the funniest thing is watching all these old dudes with one phone. We're all looking, and Mackenzie, she's the one who picks the videos and comes in every week. She's showing us on the phone, and you can see like JG, Barry, and Florio. They're squinting their eyes. They're like, "Wait, how do I do that? What?" And then we watch the video, and you're like, "Barry, you didn't do anything we just watched. Like, what the hell is that? Like, that's nothing." So it's a good time. We do it right around halftime every week. No practice, no anything. We just get in there and go. So it's a lot of fun with the guys.